So much to see and do in Grants. Parks provide relaxation for picnics and athletic events. Creative activities abound at the Senior Citizen Center. The new animal shelter is a state-of-the-art facility for our lost pets. Grants is home to the Mount Taylor Quad, Fire and Ice Bike Rally, 4th of July Rodeo, and so much more. Grants, the gateway to outdoor adventures, sightseeing, hunting, hiking, biking, and riding. Grants, where ancient and modern civilizations meet. Grants, a great place to live.
So we'll call this meeting order at 6 p.m. Roll call.
Counselor Lewis.
Here.
Counselor Lucero.
Here.
Counselor Vasquez.
Here.
And Counselor Reynolds. Here. Thank you.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Hoorah! Approval of the agenda. I'm good with it, if you guys are good with it.
I move that we approve the agenda for July 24, 2017.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero?
Yes.
Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Citizens to address the council. Jack? Jack Barty's gave you guys these numbers there, and he's going to explain them real quick.
Okay, I can give you all a copy of this, what I'm going to show, to explain to you. In the past, I've been telling you what we've been doing, but I didn't have proof, so I brought it with me this time. And on that front sheet, it shows that 681, that is only the people who went underground. And down below it tells you the countries that was represented from overseas. And then when you get to the United Kingdom, actually, there's England, Scotland, Ireland, and Wales to make up the United Kingdom. So a lot of times that's misleading because we'll get somebody from Scotland and then somebody from Wales, and we have to put it under United Kingdom. And there was a total of 11 different countries, and there 55 people. And on the second page, for June 2017, the counter, that's the people that came in the museum. And there was 1,271 total. And out of that number, 681 went underground. And then up at the top of right, it tells you how many we had each month. And now these are, on the left is people who come in the museum, and on the right, it's the ones that went underground. So we've only come close to 681. In March, we had 622 went underground. And the ones that come from out of state, all right, out of the first number, the ones that went underground, out of 681, there was 444 came from out of the state. And that's other states in the United States. So you can see what I was talking about when I said we bring a lot of people into the city of Grants. And I'd say half of them spends at least one night in town. So that's a lot of people coming in just for the mining museum.
Thank you, Jack.
Any questions? Now, I had another sheet and I forgot it. But it told how they found out about us, like signs on the road, internet, mouth-to-mouth, and all of that. And next time I'll bring that and let you see it too.
Questions?
Any questions?
When you do a tour, Jack, is that for a group or is it anybody who requests it?
What's it now?
A tour? When you
The tour is,
need a tour?
if one comes in and wants to go underground, that's okay, he goes. And if it's a group, all right, now let me explain it. Anybody under 7 is free. From 7 to 17 is $3. From 17 to 59 is $5. And anything over that is $3 again. And when we get a tour, like next Tuesday, Friday I've got a tour, and then next Tuesday I've got 50 coming in. And we give them a group rate. Everybody's $3 regardless of, because a lot of times they have 5 or 6 to go with them and help when there are that many.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Jack.
You're welcome. Anything else?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, community leaders. My name is Anna Cruz Lanchute. I'm from Cibola County 4-H Shooting Sports. I'm here tonight to thank not just the golf course, but our city manager and Councilman Vasquez for letting us use the golf course July 15th. It was a Saturday. We hosted a 3D archery shoot. It brought in 54 archers from around New Mexico. We had people from Roswell, Los Alamos, Farmington, and Cuba. We had a total of 54 archers that came out and shot at 30 different 3D archery targets. It's the first time we've ever hosted an event like this, and they were very supportive, came out, took the tour. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't very cooperative in the beginning, but it warmed up. And I just want to express how grateful we are and let you know that we recognize and appreciate you guys.
Well, and I appreciate what you do with the youth.
Thank you.
Okay, because if they're not involved with you, then they're involved with the criminal element or God knows what out there. So I say thank you,
Thank you.
period.
Anna,
Yes, sir.
I gotta admit, this was my first time that I actually went around the golf course,
Yes.
and I wanna thank you for setting me straight on a lot of things. Those targets that you acquired, how did you acquire those?
We received a check for $12,000 to acquire the 3D targets from the NRA Foundation.
Did you write the grant, or?
Yes, my husband and I wrote the grant. My husband and I and Jeff Simpson, we run the program. We're under the extension office with Chase Elkins.
Thank you for doing such a good job.
Thank you.
For taking me around and explaining to me all the details they go into.
Not a problem. It was a good day.
I also want to add that
You're not going to get mad because we shut down the golf course. I'm just saying, I'm sorry.
Make my day.
You could have come out and swung a golf club at him. I'd have been all right with that.
Jackie, my wife, was surprised I was home all day. So I had a lot of chores to do, so thanks.
You're welcome.
But no, just to add to what you've done out there, the golf course, and all the targets you had out there, the layout. I think their golf course was a perfect spot for some.
It really was. It was exceptional.
All the terrain and the trees and the lakes and ponds.
The sand traps.
It's also nice to see someone else using the golf course other than golfers. So
Right.
I was happy to see that other people around the city were using it.
Thank
So,
you.
and I would just like to echo, Anna spends a lot of time each week
Bet you.
volunteering, providing this program for our youth and families,
Bet you.
and it's something different that we hadn't had before, and so it's really great that you're doing that, and you've been really involved in trying to develop a shooting range and just develop the whole shooting sport, so thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Jack, go ahead, Jack.
See, I'm a golfer.
I'm sorry. It's just one day.
And it was, the day it was shut down, I've heard a lot of people complaining. But now, if we can't shut down one day and give these people the course,
baby.
The kid.
the kids, we shouldn't be out there to start with.
Thank you.
So,
Jack.
and everything I heard about it was really, really good.
Yeah, I don't think any golfers
And-
We're that upset.
If it took 2 days, take it.
Well, the one in Las Cruces is a 2-day. And we hope maybe someday we'll get to that point, but right now we're not there.
I hope you do, because we need to help the kids as much as we can.
Yes.
And
Thank you
anybody
again.
can't quit playing golf for a couple of days to help you, they ain't worth nothing.
Thank
May I
you again.
approach?
Please. Thank you very much for what you do with the kids.
Thank you.
Period. We need more people involved with our youth.
Thank you for coming out.
Well, thank you, Anna.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you for your
Good job.
support.
Thank you very much. Corey, you didn't sign in, but we're gonna go ahead and let you talk. Come on up. Come on, man. I know the feeling, eh? I know that having to work for a living thing.
I'd like to, but you catch me on it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Good to be with you guys tonight. I come to not to point fingers or to criticize. I've taken a lot of my remarks out of the article that was put in the paper on June 16th that Laura wrote in the full back page. I felt like it was well done. There's a lot of things that it pushes both ways. You push a little bit on your side, you got to understand you guys are in the position when people hackle you, that's what you signed up for. If people are complaining to you, you knew what it was when you picked it up. So I'm just saying you got to let it fly both ways. On the other hand, it was very good because I'm the type of person, if I want something done, I get it done. And if I see somebody else that's not following the rules, and I had to follow the rules, I'm going to be on their tail. Laura, you quoted, competition is scary to some, but competition is good motivation for business. Good point. I am trying to build my business. I'm updating my showroom. I'm updating a lot of it on my business down there. And I'm doing it the right way. Okay, I've had all the state permits I needed. I've had to hire an architect. Same thing with the Lobo Canyon job that I've got on that one. We've got $1.2 million into that building so far. And we've got about $35,000 that we've spent in architectural fees. So when I see people come into this town and want to compete, let's compete on the same level. The other thing that you said in here is you said, I'm asking the citizens that are sidelined to be open-minded about the project, talking about the library. I think that's all projects all around. People have to realize when you're in a city, when you're running a business, it may look like you're robbing Peter to pay Paul, but in the end, you're trying to help everybody you can. I understand that. And then the last quote you said, you talked a little bit about how you want those who are complaining to come out and put forth an effort. With that said, I feel like I put forth pretty good effort in this city to help beautify it, to help keep it up. I've watched the city employees drive past a piece of trash on the road, a big trash. It was like it was a huge dresser. Drove right past it on the side of the road. I stopped and picked it up. I took it over here to the city. I threw it in the dumpster. If we all want to play on the same page, let's play on the same page. But let's not criticize the citizens for complaining. I feel like there's multiple projects going all over town that nobody's playing on the same page. We've sent multiple emails to the code enforcer to get things taken care of. And he kind of blew up at us the other day and basically told us that we're spoiled babies and just to get off his back. So, if that's the way the city wants to be ran, I'll keep to myself. I'll build my kingdom over there, and I'll do that. But if people want to play fair, let's play fair.
Explain yourself.
Well, I've had to spend $35,000 in architectural fees. When you get people that are doing stuff behind closed doors, they don't have to pay any of those fees. We're not playing on a level playing field. There's a project right across the street from the city hall right here, right across the street. Windows are boarded up, and it's going to be, I guess, a bakery or a pantry, a bakery or some kind of thing over there. No, any commercial building that you touch, doesn't matter what you do to an interior wall, exterior wall, doesn't matter what you do. It has to be state permitted, and it has to have an architectural stamp on it. I'm sure that library, we spent a lot of money on architectural stamps and permits. Okay?
Over $200,000.
Okay? Exactly. How would you feel if somebody came in overnight and just threw up another library, didn't do any of that, and put that one to shame? With no permits, no nothing.
So you're saying this guy over here across the street...
I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying...
You're saying something.
You've got a code enforcer, and he basically told us, leave me alone, I have my own problems. And just about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, my brother on Elko got thrown under the bus, had to go to court, came before you guys, red tagged. I mean, we're talking small residential. no public access. This is residential. Public is totally different. Okay? There's fences going up all over town, right there on the corner of First and Roosevelt. You can't do that. That's illegal to put up a fence like he did. The old chiropractor has multiple dogs there and a fence up. I've sent an email to Mr. Windhorse stating the fact that there was no permit on that one, no city permit, no nothing, and he basically told me to get lost.
I think what happened was you contacted him several days over several different things, and he felt like you were harassing him.
So your article says here that, I mean, you want us to be actively involved, but when I don't see anything happening, I kind of feel like we get pushed to the wayside. Because I tell you what, when my brother got red tagged, it was pretty quick that he got thrown under the bus, had to go to court, had to come here, and just, it was within a matter of weeks. I've got emails that date back about 2 or 3 months ago, and I haven't seen anything happen. Here's the thing about the state. Let me tell you something about the state too. The state can red tag somebody, but if they continue to push through and get the project done with the red tag, once it's complete, the state has to wipe its hand clean so they can't do anything else. It's a different jurisdiction. So if that's all I have to do to get through the city is just hide a bunch of red tags and keep going, I could have saved about $35,000 over the last year.
Check on it.
I'm not pointing fingers. I'm just saying, let's be fair. If you want me to be actively involved, then it takes, I mean, you guys wanted the position. You ran for it, you get paid for it, you knew what it was when you picked it up. Let's go with it. I'm willing to work on my side. If you guys want me to, if not, just tell me to shut up and go back to my corner and I will. That's all you have to tell me and I'll stop.
Well, I agree with you, Corey. People complain, or I don't call it complaining, I call it, bringing issues to us. But they do it because they care. And that's why you're standing up there, because you care. And we appreciate that.
We'll look into it, take care of it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Harry, did you want to say something while you're here? I'll write your name down too.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mayor, council. What Corey's saying there makes a lot of sense because, when we lost our building up in Milan, I had to get a architectural engineer. I needed a building engineer. I needed an engineer for my blueprints for my electricity because they won't let me do it, and it's just an existing building. And there's a lot of problems with this town because down at the end of town where I have my shop, they've hounded me forever. Fence it, cover it. You got to make it pretty. Go through this town and look how many buildings are businesses that have 15, 30, 40 cars out there, junk piles of cars, and nothing's ever said about them. It's always pick on certain individuals that you have to do it, and that's not right. Like Corey said, we need to have a level playing field for everybody. If it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? And it doesn't work that way in this town. After you guys leave this meeting, go down the street and see how many people have junk cars parked out in front of their businesses. But they harped on me because I'm the first one coming in the grant. Oh, you got to cover it up. It's got to be fenced. And we did that. Nobody else seemed to do that in this town. That's, I'm not here complaining. I just brought it up because Mr. Cash brought it up, and it's the truth. It's the honest to goodness truth.
So who harped on you?
I'm sorry?
Who harped on you? Who was the ones bringing it to your attention? Was it the city?
Yeah, the city made me cover it. The
Back
code
when?
enforcement
How long
went
ago was
down.
that?
And then they harp on me for the weeds. There's too many weeds on your property.
Yeah.
Mine are the cleanest properties in this town. But yet you go to somebody else's property and it's full of weeds, they don't say anything about it. It's shoved under the thing, don't bother me, I'm too busy. And that's not right. The reason I wanted to stand up here and talk would be, first of all, Laura and the city, thanks for that breakfast sponsorship that we shared last Friday. That was really nice of the city. I appreciate that. All the representatives and senators over there appreciate it. And, they like our town. And, that was good of you guys to do that, okay? But, back to the problem, we all have to be fair. We're not being very fair. You really need to go up and down these streets, especially our main street, and look at all the, I'm going to use what Grass Cafe is right? Look across the street. That guy's got 20 or 30 cars in there. They're nothing but junk, and nobody does anything about it. But yet I got to fence my yard.
We're on that one, Harry. We're on that one
But
right now.
you know, Mayor, I'm
We're on
not
it.
saying you're not, but this has been an ongoing problem. This problem's been there
Yes.
for 5 or 6 years now.
Well, it's been longer than that, Harry. And that's why one of the reasons that we have so many people come to our meetings is because we actually respond and do things. Okay? And there's no one in this town that can say that ain't true. I've been sitting up here for 12 years now. And believe me, my first 8 years was nothing but being outvoted 3-1 on everything and listening to this, but nothing ever being moved, nothing ever getting done. For the last 3 years, we've been moving on just about everything that's been brought before us in this council chambers. That's why it's always full, Harry, and we will move on this one too. We're already moving on those calls.
You know, and I appreciate what you said and what Corey said a little while ago. You know, we ran for these positions to try and make a difference. You know, I don't know what they pay you guys or anything, but you know, I don't get paid for my position. I just do it. That's a non-paid position. But you know, my constituents are telling me why are these people doing it and these people aren't doing it. You know, everybody complains about everything. We already know that, you know. They complain about the streets and grants. They come to me about that restaurant on the library. That's the biggest complaint I hear every day. But I'm not gonna get into that because that's city business. But that's all I want to say. Thanks for the opportunity, Mayor, Council, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Discussion on charter compliance. Anybody out there want to talk about our charter compliance?
Mr. Mayor, I move, I think we're in compliance.
Thank you, Mike. Last meeting's minutes.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the minutes from the last meeting.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero? Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Airport roadway construction.
We have several individuals here tonight. Would you guys go ahead and come on up from Armstrong? And we have a special guest. It looks like Jane Lucero's here tonight. Come on up.
I'm just here to back her up.
You are, okay.
She's here on the show.
Come on up.
That's all we're here for.
Oh, yeah, Tim.
We're just here for Laura.
Bring them all up. Bring them all up. Oh, I'm the one doing it?
Yep.
Your show, man.
I did it, all the other council.
Oh, okay. Good evening, council. So my name is Laura Van Every. I'm with Armstrong Consultants, and I'm here tonight to update you on your airport project, and just kind of inform you about what's been going on and what's upcoming and kind of the next steps in our process. So first, we'll start by talking about the bid opening. So on July 13th, we opened bids for your airport project. We received 4 bids. All of which were very competitive and we were very happy with. I think we all knew that we were going to get some good competition in this project from some of what we had heard from some contractors locally. So we opened bids, we brought those back to our office for review and determined all of them as responsive. You know, they all came in, the paperwork was all good, everything was done correctly. So with that in consideration, we put together a letter of recommendation for you all to award to the lowest bidder, who was Mountain States Constructors. So, and I kind of want to go over, I think Denise had provided for you guys the letter of recommendation, and I just want to talk to you about it really quickly and let you know what our suggestion is. So we recommend awarding all 3 schedules to Mountain States. Schedule 1 will be the full depth reconstruction on the runway, and that's fully for just the pavement. Alternate Schedule 2, which is the LED lighting option, for just the runway edge lights around the runway. And then Schedule 3, which is an LED PAPI. And the PAPI is just a visual guide on the airport. It's a device that helps pilots, guides them into the runway at correct elevations. I wanted to talk to you guys tonight because Schedule 3, the LED PAPI, is a schedule the FAA will not participate in. We've had these conversations with them, and unfortunately, right now as it is, there's only one manufacturer in the US who creates the LED PAPI, and the FAA won't fund that due to it being a sole source product. However, you know, throughout kind of the entire design process, we had talked to Ray Jenkins and Paul Pena quite a bit, and they were really insistent on the LED option, and you know, really thought it was the best solution for the airport.
How much money are we talking about?
Okay, so let's talk about that. I mean, so luckily the bids came in great, which is going to make it so what we anticipated as your portion for this project, we're actually going to come in less, even with this LED situation. So as far as the LED PAPI goes, as soon as the FAA told us they wouldn't give us support on that item, we approached Jane with the state, who's given us quite a bit of support, and she stepped in and is willing to fund the LED PAPI at a 90-10 split with the city. So, I mean, that was really awesome. I mean,
She's our hero.
no, seriously, it was really awesome. So it was a great opportunity for you all, and I think it, you know, it gives you guys an opportunity to get something that works for your airport and is low maintenance and is, you know, energy efficient, and it's just, I mean, it's the way things are going, and it's the way the future's turning, and
It's the green way to go.
you know, it makes sense. And if we can't get the FAA support, the fact that the state's willing to lend that support is awesome. So we were really happy about that. So I'll go over the numbers really quickly with you. So when you see the budget analysis and the letter of recommendation, we've kind of split it up. So everything that says AIP eligible means that it's eligible for funding through the FAA. So you'll see that your total portion for the first schedule and alternate schedule 2 is the $218,039.92 for just the AIP eligible. And then looking at the third schedule with the LED PAPI at a 90-10 split with Jane, you're looking at an additional $10,000 roughly, $10,006. So right around there, you're coming in about $228,000. Originally, we had anticipated you guys were going to spend $271, so it looks like we're actually, you know, 40 to 50 grand beneath what was anticipated, and that's really just due to the really competitive bids we got. The lowest bidder was almost $1 million under our estimate.
Wow, that's
so
great.
Oh, it was great prices, so we're really excited about it. So in that letter of recommendation, you'll see that, and Denise has the tabbed version for you, there's a grant application for the FAA for you to get your federal funding. So, you know, if you guys have any questions for me, let me know. That'll be the next step as far as execution. We'll get this, and then I'll have state grants submitted to you through Jane, and those will also come for signature. But I want to make sure that you guys are in full support of this option, of the LED option for the airport. I think cost-wise it works out, and it's not all the time that you get this kind of support from the state.
I'm very pleased with where this came out. Questions?
You know, as far as the LED, are they, you know, obviously that's a long life product, right?
Absolutely.
So it's gonna last longer than the standard lighting.
So and so when you're looking at it as a life cycle cost analysis, ultimately, yeah, it will save you much more money maintenance-wise. Like all the parts that Ray has to buy for the incandescent system right now, they're expensive. They're really expensive, and like the PAPI bulbs, he changes out all the time. So it's maintenance and it's labor for him too.
So as far as maintenance cost for that LED product, is it pretty minimal as far as the product on the shelf?
Yeah, it's pretty minimal, and I mean you just don't need as much product. I mean you're not replacing nearly as often. So
The LED bulbs, like you're probably looking at 1 to 2 times a year right now with incandescent bulbs, changing them out. Those PAPIs probably go out every other month, those PAPI lights. With the LEDs, we're looking at probably 5 to 7 years before you have to change them out. And there's a lot of labor, especially, you know, you have Ray out there and another helper out there. I mean, once you get that, I mean, that could be almost a full-time job going around and changing bulbs out.
Is there,
And the
any type
energy
of
costs.
warranty on that system, or?
So, I mean, with our projects, there'll be a 1-year warranty, just to guarantee, you know, that it's in full.
And you guys have been having a lot of problems, all right, with your PAPI, I know. I think last year you went down twice, and we had, actually, I think Jane funded a grant, either last year, I think, to help fix the PAPI.
We have been looking forward to this since I started on this council in 2006, guys. We've been working towards this.
Yep.
The bids have come in. I'm so pleased just by that. That's why I said my only question was the dollar amount. And we're well under the 270,000 that we had planned on playing on this. Guys, I see no problem with this. Any questions? Any more questions from the council? I'll entertain the motion to approve that resolution in front of you to do the airport.
Awesome. Thank you, Mayor.
Mayor, I just kind of want to give a whole thing on the funding. Before you, Laura, put together the federal grant on this, once you sign that, it'll go back to the FAA. They're turning those grants around right now, probably about a 2-week time is what we've seen. And then they'll give you the grant offer back that will need to be signed. I believe you're passing a resolution also.
Yes.
So it doesn't have to go back to council, that it'll give the mayor authority to sign it once it comes in. The thing why we're doing that is the FAA's, when you get that grant offer back, sometimes that time period they give you to get it back to them signed is pretty short. We're not looking, I haven't seen what they are now, but sometimes they're as short as 1 or 2 weeks.
It's
and
been 5 days.
Has it been 5 days now?
5
Yeah,
days.
so it's pretty quick to get that offer back to them. That way you're assured of the money, so. And Jane, you want to say?
No, I just want to say your airport looks amazing. I've been, like you, I've been,
We have been working hard.
I started with the DOT 10 years ago and this project was identified and I can't believe we're finally getting it done,
Yes.
so.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and Ray's doing a great job out there. It just,
Yes.
it looks amazing. So thank you for supporting him and the airport and, yeah, I'll see you at the ribbon cutting.
Thank you for your
Okay, Mike?
Mr. Mayor, I recommend we approve resolution number 17, or I move that we approve resolution number 17-1558.
Second. Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero?
Yes.
Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Thank you guys very much.
Thank you all.
Airport runway grant funding. This is, shoot down backwards.
Was that the resolution? I think that was the resolution.
Yeah, that was the one. Okay, we got them backwards here.
There's actually 2 resolutions.
Yeah,
One
one
for
was-
accepting the bid for the construction and one for the actual grant to the FAA. So you should have 2 resolutions
Okay,
there.
the second one is 1556. What happened to 1557? We got 1559 and 1560 down below. 56
So-
and 58. What happened to 57?
We don't have it listed on the agenda, do we?
No.
The resolution?
We've got presentation, adopted with runway adopting the grants for comprehensive master plan. And we got the one for the grant funding.
And they were all sent over in one packet, all the airport stuff in one
1756,
packet and all the other stuff in the other
1758,
packet.
but there's no 1757.
So we need a resolution accepting the grant funding, and what was the other one?
For the construction,
For the
for the
construction?
Mountain States to be the construction company.
And I don't think you need a resolution for that. Do we need a resolution to pick the Mountain States as the?
No.
No.
I wouldn't, if I were you, I wouldn't award the bid until you had the FAA grant in hand.
Okay.
Just because
Okay.
I'm superstitious like that.
Actually, we haven't sent you the notice of award yet, so
Okay.
that's good too. We'll be.
Okay, so really, we just have the one resolution.
And what does the resolution say, sign and accept?
It should say for the.
Hereby authorizing city subject documents pertaining to the grant application and the grant offer.
Boom, you're set.
That's the one we want.
Okay.
That's what you want.
Thank you guys very much.
Okay,
That's
thank
the one we
you.
approved. Thank
It's
you
good to
guys.
see you.
You too.
I still want to know what happened in
We
1557.
didn't need a resolution.
Okay, but we've still got 1558, 1559, and
Oh, I see
1560.
what you're saying.
We're out of order now, okay? we'll change the resolution.
Do you know, did we use 57 on something
It
else?
was, if you look at the minutes from July 10th, item number 4, that was for the project development, planning and design of First Street, phase 2.
So we use 1557 on that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll work. I just wanted to know why we were out of sequence. Thank you. Okay, that'll work. Okay, so we've already done number 4. Number 5, presentation and approval of resolution adopting the comprehensive plan.
We have Steve Burstein here this evening that's going to do a presentation on our comp plan. Do you need to hook up to the projector?
Yes, I'd like to hook up
Okay.
my laptop.
We've got another kind, there's a plug-in over there, and there's one here.
You may have to plug in down there. Oh, wait a minute, here we go. All right.
Here it goes.
All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm Steve Burstein with Architectural Research Consultants, and I've been working with the city on an update to your comprehensive plan. And this is an update of the plan that was prepared in 2007 that my company, ARC, also had the pleasure of working with the city on.
That's the one I did, right?
It is the one that you did, Mayor. And what we've done for this plan, which is kind of a guide to long-range physical planning activities and subjects, is we added a couple different elements. Some of them are required by the CDBG funding agency, Community Development Block Grant, and they are water and hazards mitigation. And then at the city's request and in the RFP, there's also an element on recreation trails and open space. So in addition to land use, economic development, housing, transportation, utilities, facilities, you have those additional elements as well. And I know that you've made, the plan has been available to you electronically. Here's a physical copy if anyone would like to take a look at it. So it's a fairly lengthy document, and I'm just going to give you kind of a brief overview of it. We partnered with MRWM Landscape Architects, and they really focused on the parks and trails within the city. A steering committee was formed, and Denise and Paul Pena in particular helped with that. And Eduardo Jaramillo has been key to all of the meetings that we've had. We have, I think, a total of 5 meetings since October. In addition, we did a community survey to ask opinions about some of the needs of the City of Grants that was distributed through the utility bills and also made available online. We got 327 responses. We conducted a public meeting on May 24th, and then we're here tonight. And as you can see, the steering committee members are listed. Councilor Reynolds was on the committee, and it was a group that gave a lot of guidance, had a lot of good discussions, and you'll see some of the results of our work. First, I'd like to show you just a little bit of background information. Here's a map of the city of Grants. You have 15 square miles within the city limits. Residential, which is yellow and shades of orange, are 850 acres, the largest developed land category, followed by commercial, 231 acres. That doesn't include some of the vacant commercial properties. It's just everything that has been commercial. I should say it does include vacant as well as used commercial properties. 408 acres of parks, and that includes the golf course. And then 64% of the land area is vacant. It's gray on this map. Much of it is not developable, not readily developable, but a fair amount is as well, of course, as you know. Looking at population, the city grew tremendously in the 1950s and peaked in 1980 by the census. I think it peaked at a higher number off census year, maybe as high as 14,000. And it's been fairly steady from the 1990s through 2015. What I find interesting, though, too, is to break out the population by those who live in households and those who are institutional, since you have the presence of prisons in the community. And the red box area is the residents who are living in households. And as you can see, they fluctuate a little bit. It's been very steady at about 8,400 individuals. And then the Grants population living in group quarters or institutions has increased pretty significantly from 1990 to 2010. Looking at just one economic factor, employment in the county, what's notable is that Cibola County peaked in employment in 2008, and it's been fairly steady, but it's not been able to come back to that level, and that's consistent with the state of New Mexico as a whole. So that's the employment picture. UNM prepares population projections for counties, and the most recent projection was prepared in 2017, and it shows just a little bit of growth based on expected net out migration, a sluggish economy, declining birth rates. So they're averaging 0.2% per year on average from 2010 to 2040, gaining just over 2,000, well, just around 2,000 people from year 2010.
From 2010 to 2040, you're saying that we're going to grow 2,000 people?
That's the count, the state's estimate, you know? And so it's very conservative. It was a little more optimistic for growth in 2012. So I showed that blue line as well, just to kind of get a sense. We prepared population projections as part of this project, and the high range shows job growth pretty significantly, possibly returning. The mid-range, which we consider most likely, shows just a little bit higher rate of growth than anticipated by the UNM for the county. And then the low range shows a small decline in population. So for your consideration, we're thinking you'll have a fairly low amount of rate of growth from 2015, gaining 700 people. So it's not much. And of course, the prison population could fluctuate up or down.
I believe that's our growth.
That has been your growth.
Okay. Because we have people exiting this place due to no work, and it's throughout the whole state.
It is. You're not alone. So I want to give you kind of a brief overview of the implementation plan. It's kind of an executive summary, I think, of the overall plan. There's a lot more information, obviously, in this document. And I'll start with land use. One of the actions that we're recommending in the short-term time frame, and that's the first column, is to update the land use code and zoning map. I see that you have an action item on tonight's agenda to keep working on the zoning map, so that's great. The second action is to look at encouraging property upkeep. It's a matter of seeing if there are other incentives and additional enforcement to keep at something that you've been at for a long time. It's continuing what you've been doing. And then I'm highlighting also concentrating growth in some of the districts and nodes that I'll show you at this point. So the map on the left is showing some of the nodes and districts for priority growth, and with an anticipation of emphasis on outdoor recreation, tourism, and possibly additional seniors moving into the community. Some of that activity, I think, goes in these nodes or close to these nodes or districts. And then, of course, you've got other industrial development and travel-related industries that are great in retail. On the right side are some of the recommended code amendments. The first one is to take a look at the special use zone. I was involved with the land use code in 2012, I believe it was, and we didn't really take that on, you know, saying let's look at this large zone district. It's a little bit problematic. It's work yet to be done to kind of break it down. Some mobile home parks are in there, for example, that could have their own zone and not just have that special use zone. The second point is you've got a conditional use permit for home-based businesses that require renewal annually, and the recommendation is to do it at least every 2 years. Don't do it quite as frequently. It's a little bit discouraging, I think, to some of the home businesses to have to come and go through that process each year. Then we took some of the information from the MRA master plan that the city adopted earlier this year, and one is to recommend a downtown zone district with some additional architectural standards, and so we wanted to, you know, coordinate with the master plan, the comprehensive plan, to also have it support that. The last item is to look at cannabis dispensary and cannabis productions as uses instead of just being retail or agriculture, but to actually call them out as specific uses, require them to go through a conditional use permit process. And my idea, at least, is that it's not necessarily to discourage them. I'm not saying that they're bad or good, but just to give the city a little more leeway on making sure that they go where you want them to go, and that the practice is not deleterious or somehow impacting neighbors. So it would give you that opportunity, and it is legal for you to do that. Of course, the state has a lot of their own regulations of that industry as well. Going on to economic development, as I mentioned, a lot of the information from our discussions and from the community survey were to support a kind of a vision of grants becoming more into outdoor recreation. So that vision should be explained and should be still, I think, just try to bring people along on it and what the implications are. So branding could be part of that, getting the word out. You already have a team, but we're still emphasizing how important it is to keep building the team that is promoting outdoor recreation. Then making grants welcoming and promoting a welcoming station could be useful for that. And overall diversifying the market with pop-up businesses, which is not specifically tourist related, but for residents as well. And yeah, so again, expanding retail options. To have a task force that works on that topic is important. Expand recreational businesses. One idea that my colleague Liza Miller with ARC came up with is a bike library that would have a whole range of types of bikes. I was here yesterday mountain biking, or excuse me, road biking, but you could have different mountain bikes that would be rented, different sizes, so it's not just one type. And then also expanding recreational opportunity, and I'll go into that a little more. This diagram shows the series of economic eras that grants has had since the 1800s, and it's just kind of providing a notion that you're at a crossroads at this time. All of the areas have continuity.
We still have mining going on, we still got logging going on, we got all those things still going on.
Yeah, and that's
so
my
that
comment.
makes it look like they're dead and they died. That's not true, okay? Just so everybody's aware that we still got a coal mine, we still got logging going on right now with Allen's out there, and I know plenty of ranchers, I see them all the time.
Yep. Mayor, thank you very much for your comment. And yeah, it does kind of look like it's the evolution chart, and it's not that really. Yeah, so it was a little fanciful, you might say. So it's just to look at starting a new emphasis on outdoor recreation as well, to add to that. And this is a kind of a visualization of the downtown, of what all the amenities you have that are basically city facilities that can contribute to, I think, recreational tourism and just overall downtown development. Looking at housing, I think the city will have some growth, and with declining household sizes, you'll have a need for more housing units than even just the population alone might warrant. And I think it's important to have a diverse housing stock, to have affordable as well as mid-range and some higher end, and senior housing for sure. Consider stricter maintenance codes, consider and continue enforcing the codes that you do have, and educating the public about the importance of maintenance. I know that the code enforcement officer has done a lot to try to do that, to get the word out about how important that is and assist people. As I mentioned, there's a whole element on recreation trails and open space. MRWM made a lot of what I hope will be useful recommendations for each park in the city, and the recommendation here as an overall strategy is to create a parks action plan and update it annually so that the city is able to keep making progress in improving the nice assets that you have. Build missing link sidewalks and trails, poll the public either through meetings or through surveys on just what they want, because there's a broad range of different things like splash pads that might be popular in grants and we need to find out. Develop an in-town bike park or a pump track that can build skills among youth in biking. And then of course the Continental Divide Trail and the Zuni Mountain Trails. There's work to be done to establish some of the routes, to do wayfinding signage and additional trail building. And that's important since Grants is a gateway community. Then there's a recommendation to develop in-town or close by purpose-built bike trails. So those are more for competitive mountain biking. And you might have opportunities to do that close enough to Grants that it could actually be a nice additional activity here. And of course, work with regional partners, which again you are doing, but we want to emphasize that. And then looking at some of the non-bike and non-pedestrian activities too, ATV, motorized vehicles, and then road bike use as well. The pie chart is showing one of the community survey results that of the respondents, 93% said yes, we do support Grants becoming a destination for outdoor recreational activities. And then on the right side, the Legacy Trail, which was developed as a concept before and we just incorporated into the plan, that map is shown for the continuation of the Riverwalk. So for utilities and water, we're looking at implementing water and electricity efficiency improvements. The Simon study is, as I understand, going on and making recommendations on that. Developing the new wastewater treatment plant is important. Developing long-range utilities plans that might build off of the Simons or Simmons work would be another planning activity that I think is important. With regard to broadband internet, an important utility, the city doesn't have the lead, but you can support and work with providers. And then finally, improving recycling, which Again, I know that there's been thought about it. It may not be the time quite yet. We didn't put it in the first time period, but it's something to keep an eye on. And for water, updating the 40-year water plan and developing a drought management plan. And then for facilities, again, management plans, maintenance plans are important. Improving the efficiency, which again is kind of Simon's work as well. And dealing with the courthouse, again, the county is the lead, not the city, but to support them as they figure out what to do with that important asset in the downtown, including the Main Street Association as part of the thinking about what should happen to reuse that building. With regard to transportation, the city's been active in reconstructing streets. We recommend a priority scoring system to select the streets. Not in this time frame, but later develop a master plan for streets in the undeveloped northeast sector of the city. I don't think you have the growth right now that requires it. And then finally to implement the MRA plan street improvements that you already heard about through that planning process. And here's some of the community survey results that show strong support for improving the streets. You can see the top bar is improving streets and roads on the left, and then of the pie chart, improving sidewalks is the lower part of the pie chart. So pretty strong support there. And then finally, hazards mitigation. So coordinating local efforts is important for emergency response, updating the county's hazard plan, which should be updated every 5 years. The city's part of that, so it's just working with Cibola County. Mitigating flooding, such as on George Hanisch and 5th Street. Assessing and mitigating city facilities if they are in hazard's way, and that would be conducting a special assessment of all of your different buildings and parks to be sure that they need, if they need protection, that they have that protection from flooding or any other hazard. And then finally, setting water conservation goals for homes and businesses. So that's kind of a broad perspective of the plan. I think that the planning process was a good one. My appreciation to city staff who participated, and to the residents and the steering committee. And I stand for any questions and comments.
Questions? Motion. Unless you don't want to approve the plan.
I move to approve resolution number 2017-1556, the City of Grant Comprehensive Master Plan.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Reynolds? Councilor Lucero?
Yes.
Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We appreciate all your work on this.
High Street sewer line repairs.
So we still haven't heard what the cost is going to be for High Street and Silver, but we did get a quote for the situation out back here, right here by City Hall, and that's what's in your packets. Edward's here tonight, and I would like to thank Edward and his staff. They sat with me and TLC, and we whittled this down. Initially, I believe the quote was $103,000. And we got them down to $81,855. So we did things like we'll do the traffic control with our street department. We'll bring in the dirt and take out the old. And they wanted to put a gas trap on one of the manholes, and Edward said we really didn't need that. So we got it down a little bit, but it's desperately needed. I don't know how long that line's been a problem, but since I've been here, which is 3 years, so it's to the point where we can't ignore it any longer. It's causing a lot of issues at the fire station across the street.
Questions? I know when I used to man the recycle bins over here on the side, used to get pretty ripe on some days, guys.
It sure did. I'll entertain a motion, or whatever you guys decide you want to do with this one.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve the work on High Street sewer line repair in the amount of $81,855.
Second.
Second.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Vasquez? Counselor Lucero? Counselor Lewis?
Yes.
Just to note, this is a project that will be going through CES, the cooperative, so it'll be funneled through there.
Ron, you want to stand up and tell us how excited you are?
Furniture's next, yeah.
Is my smile enough? Yeah, I'm really excited about the, we spent probably, here's Michael. We spent probably 2.5 months researching, visiting libraries around the state to get a glimpse of what other libraries did. And the vendor we settled on, we felt just had the most modern looking, the best looking. We did kind of have a, what's the word? We did sort of have a style that we were looking for, something modern. So what you'll see is not sort of the academic type library, dark wood and things like that. You're looking at a big bright space with comfortable seating. Seating in the covered area up front as you come in. We've outfitted the rooms, 2 of the rooms in the back, so we will be able to offer youth programming from day one in the Makerspace lab. We'll be able to host small conferences, things like that. So besides the fact that we are outfitting the library proper in its various areas, from day one, we will be able to have people using the various sort of non-everyday rooms in the library. And so it was an exhaustive process. Again, it took a lot of meeting and price comparing and all that, but the vendor we settled on, I think, has provided us a very fair quote and really, I think, gave us the look we were looking for. And overall, we're just excited and pleased to be talking about this right now.
So the new library, I would say, is about 4 times as large as the one we have now.
It is.
Easily, and maybe more. And so we need furniture. We have a conference room we're outfitting, an art room, classroom setting that we're outfitting. We are taking quite a lot of the furniture from our existing library. We went through and decided which pieces were in good shape and could be utilized, so we are doing that. We're not just going with everything new. The one thing we went back and forth on a little bit was the shelving, and the shelving in our existing library is pretty ugly, although we felt like it was still functional, but this vendor gave us a really good deal on the shelving, so we are getting new shelving. The older stuff might be able to still be utilized in certain areas where it can be hidden a little bit more, but you know, and I'm very excited. I'm very proud of myself because I was trying to come up with a budget figure and I had no clue what this was going to cost to outfit a library, and I came up with $300,000. So we're really close. And I was like, wow, I was in the ballpark at least, because I was like, I have no clue what it'll cost, and we were a little afraid to ask.
That's true.
But it has taken a long time, and we do have it in our budget, so we'd appreciate your support in approving this purchase.
Questions? Motion. Somebody.
I move that we approve the purchase of furniture for the new learning center in the amount of $311,417.74.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor
Yes.
Vasquez? Councilor Lucero? Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Thank you, Ron.
And before we go, I hope that in October you'll all join us at the grand opening. We don't have a date for that yet, but I personally invite you to be there with us as we celebrate what's going to be a really, I think, youth-centered place with the combining of everything that's going on in that building. And I've made it actually a point and an objective to make sure that that happens, and I can guarantee you that it will. So.
And that's going to be the grand opening of when?
Sometime in October, maybe you guys
We're
know
thinking
something.
early November probably. It
What
looks
happened in
like
August?
once, well,
Gotta wait for the furniture, buddy.
the facility will be done, but we still gotta move everything over,
move
all the
over there.
books, and the furniture will take about 12 weeks to come in, so we're thinking early November. Yeah.
Thanks again, Ron.
Yep.
Number 8, purchase of a used dump truck.
We have our foreman here tonight and our administrative assistant if you have any questions, but we have 2 old dump trucks and one of them went kaput recently, and so I asked the staff if they would look around for a used one because we've spent quite a lot in equipment this year, and so they were able to find one that happens to be a Milan, and it belonged, is it Milan? No?
No, it's on Sacularis.
Oh, Sacularis, okay. It belongs to Med Systems. And I don't know why they would have a dump truck, but it's in very good shape. Our staff have driven it, our mechanics have inspected it, and it's got lower miles than most of that year. And so we think it's something we can use for many years until we can afford a new one.
I make a motion that we should buy that dump truck for $28,000.
Second.
Second.
Counselor Reynolds?
Yes.
Counselor Vasquez? Yes. Counselor Lucero? Counselor Lewis?
Yes.
Number 9, ordinance 1221, amendment to the official zoning map.
We have Robert Redhorst here this evening to present this to you.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, and our City Manager. In 2012, they put together a zoning map of the city, and we have come to find in the last year that there were a few things that needed to be tweaked from time to time. And that's what this is basically. We have Diamond G Home Center. They have 3 lots around their business. They wanted to change the zoning from mixed residential to general commercial. And then the Hovlands have traded where Falcomata Motors was. They traded that property with the person over on, it's in your packet, over on High Street that has a great big shop, and they want to move their used car business over there. So they wanted to change that from general commercial, no, same thing, from mixed residential to general commercial so that they could have a business over there. The third one is over on Lobo Canyon Road. It is general commercial, and they wanted to change it to light commercial so that they could build a house. On both sides of that property are already homes that were built prior to 2012. So this will make it possible for the people that buy that property to be able to build a home on it. And so it was the Planning and Zoning Commission in May and in June, they wanted to recommend to the City Council that these changes in the zoning be approved to the City Council.
Questions? We need to approve each one of these individually?
I have a question.
Yes, go
So,
ahead.
I know you probably won't be able to answer this one, but if the...
But you're gonna ask.
I'm gonna ask anyway.
You go, girl.
If Falcomatas move their business, what's gonna happen to where they are now? Is it going to be a boarded up place on Santa Fe Avenue in possibly the city district?
Yes, that's probably what's going to happen until Mr. Cisneros finds a business to open there. Correct? Isn't that who got it?
That's right. Oscar Cisneros is the junior.
So that would be my guess, is that it's going to stay, because I noticed when I come in on Elkins Road, Haviland's got his cars over there across from UPS. And he's got his sign right here on the building where I guess he's fixing the cars, taking them out there to sell them. So what's going to happen to that other property Until Mr. Cisneros finds what he's gonna do with it, I proceed.
Until that time, we will work to keep that property clean and presentable.
Okay, that's what I want to know. Okay.
Alrighty, so the first one handles both, the resolution handles both of the,
It's an ordinance.
yeah, it handles both the Diamond G and the High Street Falcomata properties. Any further questions? I'll entertain a motion on ordinance 17.
Mr. Mayor, I move that we approve ordinance number 17-1221.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds.
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez. Councilor Lucero. Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Okay, and the second one is the property on Lobo Canyon Road. That would be parcel R14842.
Actually, it was all part of one ordinance, right?
Yes, it was. It's all
It's all part of one
contained
ordinance.
under that one resolution.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, that'll work. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Next one, the map agreement.
We have Denise Barnett here to present item number 10.
On my list, it's the co-op agreement, not map.
Yeah, co-op agreement, phase 3.
It's First Street Phase 3, and what that is we're moving down towards Roosevelt Avenue, or so that we can get that road under construction, get the plans in place, and then once that's done, we'll fill in the middle, and we should have the soil sample analysis back to look into getting funding to do the plan sets for that middle section from Washington down to Harrison. But this is the end of the road into First Street, the north end where it intersects at Roosevelt. This is so that we can get plans, get them in place, and then once we have the final plan sets in place, which is called the PS&E, then we can move into the construction. Once we're at 90%, with the plan sets, we request funding. That funding moves us right straight from plans, right straight into construction. And we can get the roads finished, looking nice, not tearing up cars, a lot quicker. One of our biggest issues right now with the area from Washington to Harrison in that middle section is the plume. We still haven't gotten clearances on that, and that's why we have our on-call engineers who are putting out a soil sampling analysis to find out where the plume's at exactly right now. And we can send that to environment, and environment can say yes or no, or how much longer.
Now, hang on there. They know where that plume is at.
They know where it's at, but they don't know exactly
No.
if we can go
They have
into it.
drilled holes from First Street all the way down to Mesa View. Okay, all the way through Second Street, through businesses. They know where that plume's at, and for us to spend money on that is kind of silly.
I think she's saying they're gonna soil sample to see if we're good to go.
Right.
So that we can advocate that it's time to start construction.
now that makes
Soil
sense.
sample.
Now, within the plan sets for that, we were looking at putting in new drainage, but because we have to have that soil.
The design done.
I know government.
We've actually got several projects on our TPO at the top of the list.
First and second, both are on there, and Legacy Trail, I believe.
Any other questions? This one is 17-15-59.
Yes.
The pleasure of the council.
I move that we approve Resolution 17-1559 to accept fiscal year 17 through 18 co-op agreement, First Street, Phase 3.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds.
Yes.
Councilor
Yes.
Vasquez, Councilor Lucero, Councilor Lewis.
Yes.
Next one, Resolution 17-1560 to accept MAP funding.
And this map funding is for Second Street Phase 4. That's from Washington to Roosevelt. That should complete the rest of Second Street. And what we're looking at as far as this is to start it, have it underway next summer when the kids are all out of school. That way there's not a lot of congestion or problems getting high schoolers into the school.
Mr. Mayor, I move we approve resolution number 17-1560.
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Councilor Lucero? Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
I need a motion to go into closed session to discuss some limited personnel matters.
I make a motion to go into closed session?
Second.
Second.
Councilor Reynolds?
Yes.
Councilor Vasquez? Lucero? Councilor Lewis?
Yes.
Let's do this.
So much to see and do in Grants. Parks provide relaxation for picnics and athletic events. Creative activities abound at the Senior Citizen Center. The new animal shelter is a state-of-the-art facility for our lost pets. Grants is home to the Mount Taylor Quad, Fire and Ice Bike Rally, 4th of July Rodeo, and so much more. Grants, the gateway to outdoor adventures, sightseeing, hunting, hiking, biking, and riding. Grants, where ancient and modern civilizations meet. Grants, a great place to live.